This is a 2003 Mercedes Benz C240, and today I'm going to be working on replacing the rotors and brake pads. I got the whole kit from FCP Euro with a lifetime replacement guarantee. Zimmerman rotors, 4 of them, and the brake pads, they are TRW. And then I have 3/8 and half-inch drive torque wrench and the Torx kit, plus metric sockets with a bunch of ratchets, and brake caliper grease, silicone paste, anti-seize compound, brake parts lubricant, and then the brake spreader tool. There we go. I'm gonna race the car with the Quick Jack 7000 TL. I just hooked it up. Here we go. Gotta go around and make sure everything's okay. They're making contact in the right spot. Looks like they do. I think the sound is from the tires coming off the floor. Looks okay on this side. There we go. Looks even. And I have a spider that I need to take care. I will be back. I don't like spiders. We're back. And races a little bit. And I think this is the first level that I can go back and settle down. Now it's locked in place. I'm going to start working from the rear. This is the rear passenger side, and also I'm planning to get the brake fluid flushed as I change the rotors and brake pads. So here's the 17mm socket. Off. Good. I got this 20-volt impact wrench from Amazon. It's over 3 years ago. Still works good. Here's the brand. Sweet, like that. Looks savvy. Off. There we go. There. These are brand new Goodyear tires from America's Tire. I'm gonna have this. Right. Let's look at the rotors. I think they're worn out. Let's take a closer look. Look at all the dirt from the brake pad. That's how dirty on the inside. So here, and the brake pads, not really visible. Brake pads look okay, but I'm gonna be changing them anyway. I think the rotor needs replacement. I might as well change the brake pads also. The brake fluid line seems to be okay. And here's the port for bleeding air. This one right here. Here's the caliper soft. I have an S hook to hang it, so to put less strain on the Here's the caliper. I have a S hook to hang it from the springs, so as not to put strain on the brake line. And the pads, I need to take this pin off, and also this anti-rattle clip to get them off. So I'm going to work on getting the rotor off with I think T25 Torx or smaller. So I'll be back. Okay, now it's time to remove the rotor, and looks like it's rusted. It's a T25, but I'm gonna use PB blaster and then let it sit there for a little bit. And then not the T25, this is T27. See, maybe I may have to tap it in. Just gonna tap it a little bit, make it seat well. That works. No, I think it's stripping. Use the bigger one. This might, I think that's a 27, and hopefully that'll work. Let's see. Yeah, it worked. Supposed to be T25 Torx, but we use a T27. Now it's off. Okay. I'm gonna bring a rubber mallet to tap it to get it off. It's kind of like tight. There's a rubber mallet. See, doesn't want to come off. Use a PB blaster again. Loosen up. And wait for a little bit. I should have taken this pin before taking the caliper off, so I just put it back. I'm going to use a punch to get this pin off. Okay, this isn't going to come that easy, so I need something. That's how far this punch will go. It's too big, so I need something that's sharp to be able to poke it out. So it's out, but it's all rusted, so it's going to take a little bit of finagling to get it out. So be back. Oh, I found Harbor Freight comes to the rescue. I'm going to use this pick. I should be able to tap it out. In the center. Yeah, there it. Because of the clip, it's actually I'm going to use something to pry this off, or maybe I need to push this down to get it off. It's really tight. Hold it down. Maybe relieve some pressure. Okay. Not working. So okay, almost off. Let's come a little closer. There. Let's see. Can't get any closer than that. Where is it? There we go. There's the There's the clip. Use the punch again just to tap it out. Trying to hold the clip so it doesn't fly out. Okay. All right. There's the anti-rattle clip, and the pin. Go back to the regular. Here's the pin and the anti-rattle clip. Sits like this. With the pin going from this side to the front. Now both are off. The new pads come with a clip, but I think we have to reuse the pin. I'm gonna clean it, and now I can take the caliper off again and hang it from the spring, and then there's the brake pad. They are pretty good, but I'm gonna change them anyway. I got the new kit, so we'll be changing that. Now it's time to get the rotors off. I made sure the parking brakes is off. I'm not gonna worry about this since we are replacing the rotor, but this thing is kind of like stuck. Tap from the side. Doesn't want to come out. Keep rotating, tapping. It's gonna take a while. Took me a lot of whacking to get the rotor off. Finally off. It's all rusted. The brake pads, the hand brake pads, seem okay. I'm not planning to replace them now. So just the rotor, brake pads, and brake fluid flush. So yeah, this itself took me about 30 minutes now. So hopefully it's not bad on the other side. I'm going to use a wire brush to do a little bit of cleaning. Clean the rust off a little bit, not too much, just to get the rust off. I think that's sufficient for cleaning. I'm going to use anti-seize compound on these edges here, wherever it makes contact with the rotor. That should be enough. Be able to take it off easily the next time around. So the cleaning is done, and let's take a look at the new rotor. This is our Zimmerman, made in Germany. So, this is the old one. Here's the new one. Spin them to make sure the retaining screw is on the top. Okay, and then line right there. Looks good. And where is my here's the screw. hand thread this first. Maybe shoot some anti-seize now. I have a Liquid Moly LM508 anti-seize compound. And apply a little bit, goes a long way. Around here. Just a little bit goes a long way. And get the retaining screw. Apply a little bit more. Then a little bit on the retaining screw as well. That should be enough. Time to put the rotor back. And where did the screw go? Oh, right here. And thread. I'm going to add a little bit more to the entire circumference. So that way, make sure that it comes off easy the next time. A little bit onto this surface. There. Ready. Doesn't need to be tightened. Just hand tighten enough. Turn it to tighten. That's good enough. It's well seated. Okay, now time to clean the caliper a little bit before we put it back. And then once that's done, I'll go on to start flushing the brake fluid from the front. I have a tool for that. Now cleaning the pin to make sure it goes smoothly the wire way. Most clean, things clean enough, sufficient. That's good enough. Here are the caliper bolts. So I couldn't use this tool. The piston spreading tool didn't work. Not at the closest point. It's not doesn't have enough space to go in. So I was able to use the pad and then a pry bar um, to push it back. Now that it's back on, time to put the. I don't think this needs any anti-seize. Came out pretty well, pretty easily. So let's hand thread the top one. Doesn't want to go in. Now it's in, and then the bottom one there. Nope, both didn't go in. Okay, try again. That's part. I think we are in now. There's the bottom one. Let's take a peek in. There, finally. So that's done. I'm going to torque it to spec, and we'll be back with the brake pads, the new brake pads. So I'm trying to tighten them as close as possible, and then use the torque wrench to torque to spec. There, torque to spec. Nice. And I'm in full some. Here we go. Let's take a look at the rain. It's been raining for the last several days. So almost done with one, and I have 3 more to go. I think front ones should be a lot easier than the rear ones because of the drum, the handbrake drum. So all right, now on to cleaning the rotor. I have brake clean the coating off. Clean all the factory coating off. And then on the brake pads on the rear side where there's a contact, metal to metal contact, I'm going to apply this supplied grease. It's called high temperature silicone ceramic disc. I have my own, but I'm going to just apply what they supply. By them surface where it's going to make connection with the piston, and then slide it in. Also on the other side. There we go. That's the other side. I think this side goes towards the piston. Apply some more grease. The rain's picking up again. Take a look. You see, it's heavy rain. The anti-rattle clip is in with a pin. You push it with a pry bar to get it all lined up. But finally, it's in. So we are done. Just check the brake fluid. Still in good condition, so I'm not going to change it now. So I'm going to put the tire back, set it. Actually, for BMW, I have a pin that goes in and stays, so I can set it. But this, for the Benz, I don't have it. I may have to get it. It's a little difficult just to align it and then get the bolt on. Straight up. It's really difficult. Wasn't that difficult on the front one. This one's pretty difficult. I'm gonna figure out some of that. have one aligned. Let's see if I can get it in. Just start it, just just lightly, and then I don't want to use an impact to run it down. Hand tighten it just to hand thread, and then just to start it so it holds it. So there, two on. That should be easy. I have the wheel, the tire bolts run down all the way to, until they just sit flush, and then I'll use the torque wrench once the car is on the ground. Mm. Nothing scraping. All right. So one done, three more to go. Just finished removing the tire on the rear driver's side. It's the same process as the other side. I'm going to record this. I'm not going to record this. Um, we'll pick it back up on the front passenger tire. Just finished replacing the rear brake rotors and pads, all done, and only recorded one side. I'm on to the front, and front passenger side. This is the only one that has the brake pad sensor. That you just have to tug it out from the brake pad. It comes off like this, and then we have to disconnect from here. Here's the on the caliper. It's mounted on the caliper, the sensor, and then this comes off. Just pull it out. So I will do that once I get the caliper off, and then once I have the rotor replaced, I'll replace that. I will record it separately. Don't know what was wrong with this. It looks okay. We'll find out. So gonna remove the caliper. Caliper is mounted. Let's see what size. That's not a 17, so that's a bigger one. So we found the right size socket. It's an 18 millimeter for the caliper bolts at the front, not 16. So I'm gonna just loosen, and then well, I think first it's better off if I take the pads off, and then I can remove the caliper mount, caliper mount. Then it's a 12 millimeter for the caliper bolts, and then the caliper mount is 18. Reverse. Okay. Right angle. Okay, there you go. One. The second one. Bottom. There. So that's off. This. So they are 12 millimeter bolts. So we have to lift it. You need to push the brake pad a little bit. You have to use a pry bar to loosen them up. Even after pushing the brake pad, the caliper didn't want to come out. Here's my hook. I need the S hook. So This is the S hook. That should be enough. This one. Come on. Hang it here. I can work on the brake pad sensor as well as the um, piston. I think on this one I can use the piston pushing tool or piston spreader tool. Okay, and have already, oh, this ones I haven't started loosening up yet. And here's the brake pad. I think there's a one, I don't know if this one had notch here. It looks different. I have to look into the new ones, make sure I'm putting in the right orientation. And these are the anti-rattle clips. This is all rusted. The rotor is not that bad, but still gonna replace it. So before we do anything, let me spray some PB blaster. I have a pig mat down here to catch the smell. No space. PB blast. Hopefully it comes out easy. All right, I'm gonna give it a few minutes. Be back. Now on to removing the set screw. I soaked it for about 15 minutes. I have a flathead jammed in the vanes. So let's see. Should be real quick. Yep, soft. Soft. That's done. Now, what the pads? Mm. Oh yeah, I see why. I don't think I need to change the sensor. It looks the pad is all gone. I think my son always says, there's some issue. Almost 100% of the time, he's right. I mean, these pads are completely gone. No wonder we were getting the brake check brake indicator lights on. So a good thing. And let's look at the new one versus the old one. It is a big difference. Here is the new one. Look at that. Look at that. And versus right here. Let's zoom in. And that has just very little left. Very left little. I think that's why the sensors were saying they need to change it. I mean, look at the difference. That is a huge difference. Okay. Okay. He's gonna be very surprised. Oh, look at the brake pads. Here's the new one. The way you were driving to now, that's the old one. That's the new one. Look how small they are.
I told you that the pads are bad.
Right. I mean, this is like basically ridiculous. I mean, they were. I'm changing the both of them, so it doesn't matter what I'm using
You said they
here.
were good.
On the back rear ones were. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is the old one versus the new one. It's unbelievable. You want to take a picture? I can't believe the pads are. I told him they're okay, but I couldn't see that well. I looked at the rear ones and say, hey, look at it, but this is a goner. Gone. The the size difference between the new one and the old one is right. So the next time I'm going to change the sensor and remove the caliper bracket and change the rotor. I will record that. Um, so we'll be back. I got the caliper bolts are really hard to remove, so they're off. 18 millimeter. And here's the caliper. Clean it up and grease the pins. I think they're okay. Look at that, springy. So I'm not gonna do anything if they're springy and nice. I don't think they need any lubrication. Click it. Let's see. They move back and forth smooth. They're okay. And these are the anti-rattle clips, and the new brake pads come with the new clips. So transfer, put a new one in after replacing the rotor. So compared to the rear, the front should be relatively easy. I'm going to tap a little bit. So it's out. There's the rotor. Not in that bad shape, but it's getting a new one. There's the old one. I'm going to bring the new one. Here's the brand new one from Zimmerman. That's the old one versus the new. I could have just resurfaced it and used, but I think the brake pads kind of dug in on the rotor surface and looks like they are uneven. So I'm gonna clean this with a wire wheel. There's the wire wheel. There we go. Forward. Bearings look good. I don't hear any noise. Get the rust off. So that's good. Removing the brake pad sensor. Just have to use a needle nose to just pry it off. There's a gasket in it, so it's a little tight. And there you go. That's how it looks. Still good, but I'm gonna put the new one from FCP Euro. It's called Boba. I was wondering about this pin. I think the old one is gone because this breaking off is what causes that check brake indicator lights to come on. So yeah, this is gone. It's a goner. And I was looking at the pads, and I don't see any hole in there. I was wondering, and I went back to look at the one. There's one that goes on the passenger side. I think this model only has one sensor. So there's a small hole over there. I think that's where it plugs in, like so. It goes in like that, and then plugs into that. So when this, like the pad started grinding away, and then once it reaches that, and this makes contact with the rotor, that's when the circuit closes, and then you get this warning light. So I think this goes like that, like so. Right? This is the orientation. Push it all the way in. Okay, that's good to know. So I'm going to put this new sensor in. So make sure I have it in the right orientation. So don't have any issues. So pad is going to be like this. So then that needs to go like so, and then that is how it's going to be plugged in there. Okay, so I can plug in the sensor. Okay, it's going to take a little bit of wiggling to make it go in. Take a look at how the pin needs to go in. Look at that. So there is that there's like a plastic there. The pin needs to go in between those. So here is the pin. So it needs to go this way, like so, like so. Here's the pin. It goes in like so. Actually, like so. Then push it in till it's seated well, and that's it. I think it latches on until the gasket makes a tight seal right there. So the new sensor is in, and then I need to compress the piston and then start putting it back together using the piston compression tool. Looks like it's working. Like that. This needs to go all the way back in. Now if it's I can't see anything until I bring into this. As I start rotating it, it opens up, and that way it's pushing the uh, piston back in. I need both hands for that. I think that's it'll make it a lot easier. So you see how it works. Right here to this side, you can see it looks like it's working really well. Surprised. Wasn't sure this is gonna work. I always use the where's the tool? I have another tool. I've always used this, and also the C clamp. But this tool, the first time I'm using it, it worked out okay. So it's all done. Now you can take it off. You can see the pads are gone all the way in. They're all the way in. So I think we are good now. On to next step is on to mounting the caliper bracket, and then the actually mounting the new rotor, then onto the caliper bracket, and then the caliper with the brake pads. I have to change um, the anti-rattle clips on the caliper, and then probably another 10-15 minutes. Then I'll move on to the last one, the driver side, and that side doesn't have the brake pad sensor, so there's only one sensor on this model. I'm gonna apply a liberal amount of anti-seize compound, make it easy for the next time around. I think that's good enough. apply a little bit for the screw, the rotor retainer screw. I think that's good enough. I'm going to clean the new rotor. Just clean the factory coating. I cleaned up my hand before handling the rotor, so not to make it more dirty. So just clean of all the factory coating. And now it's ready to go. There's the set screw, the rotor set screw. Bring it up top. I think the rotor is in. Apply a little bit more anti-seize to the set screw. That's good enough. And then you're ready to go back. That's enough. A little bit more cleaning. On the other side too. And I think we are ready to mount the caliper bracket next. The next step is to remove the anti-rattle clip, the old ones, and put the new ones in. So snap in place there, like so. One in. There's the other one. The new one. On this side, I wasn't putting it right, so it needs to go like this. Snap, snap, and that's how it looks. There, like this orientation, and then the mounting bolts. Top one is on. There, to the bottom one. So that looks good. I'm gonna tighten that torque it and then be back to mount the caliper. All done. The tire, finished mounting the tire, and just tighten them enough, and we'll torque it once the car is on the ground. So it's the same thing on the other side, driver's side. So it took a lot longer than I expected. So on to the last side. So a total actual time I was planning on about a couple of hours, or I'm approaching I think 4 hours now. All right, all done. Four rotors and brake pads. The front brake pads were really in bad shape. They were almost gone down to the metal. So it's all done. And I checked the fluid level. Actually, it was overflowing. I had to take some off. And then top it off a little bit. After that, it's all done. Now it's ready to go for a drive.